Welcome to the Darkstream. I'm VoxDay, voxday.blogspot.com, and Infogalactic News. The big news today, obviously, is the various accusations flying back and forth between the Trump administration and the opposition media, otherwise known as the Democratic Party activists with bylines. It's kind of amusing to me, you know. You read the way that these journalists don't even seem to be. Oh wow, that's impressive. I am well, thank you. The thing that's funny is that the journalists don't even seem to be reading their own statements. So there was a Daily Mail piece today, and it said that Trump makes bizarre accusations of bugging. And then later in the same piece, it talked about how a FISA court had, the FBI had requested a warrant to bug Trump Tower. And they'd gone to one of those secret FISA courts, been rejected, and then went back and picked it up, got the warrant to bug Trump Towers. This is in October. And this is not new news. This is stuff that was reported. Louise Mensch, my friend Louise, published it on Heat Street back in October. And so, how bizarre can it be when it's something that's not even news? It's not even something that's anything new to anyone. And so, the interesting thing is that if you look at the statement, I like Louise. I mean, she's completely crazy, but that's all right. So, you guys are making me feel bad. I didn't know if Scott had one going. If I'd known he had one going, I wouldn't have done it, or at least would have waited. Of course, he does go pretty long sometimes. But the interesting thing, actually, I did actually have a bet with Louise. She was certain that Hillary was going to win. And so she has to read A Throne of Bones now, because, as I expected, Trump did win the election, as we know. But what's crazy about this is, they picked this. They're trying to say this Obama spokesman came out and said that the White House did not give any orders to bug Trump Towers or bug Trump. Well, that's an interesting way. They said that it's kind of, you can always tell when they're trying to hide something. I'm a professional writer. I'm also a professional editor, and so it's very easy for me to parse words. And it was so funny because they said, well, we have a cardinal rule that neither Obama nor the president should be involved in surveillance and so forth. And so no one in the White House gave any orders to any surveillance orders. Well, that's not denying the claim. In fact, that is almost a direct admission that Trump Tower was wiretapped. They didn't deny that. At no point in time did they make a statement saying Trump was not bugged. They made no statement that the Trump Tower was not wiretapped. All they said was that Obama had not given the order. And so, and that may well be true. I very much doubt that Obama would have given the order. I very much doubt that someone who is technically a White House official gave the order. But somebody did. The FBI did it. We know that the FBI went to request a warrant. Somebody told the FBI to request that warrant. Now, is it possible that the warrant was requested and they didn't follow through on the recording? Possibly. But it's extremely unlikely, given that they went to such an effort that they went to the one judge, got rejected, and then that wasn't enough. They went back to a different judge and went and got it approved. You don't go to that much trouble and not do that. Yes, the originator will be in the court docs. They will find out who did it. And I very much doubt that it's going to trace back directly to Obama, but it's going to be someone that we all know is connected. You know, it could have been, you know, for example, it could have been somebody directly connected to the Hillary Clinton campaign. It could have been someone in the FBI itself, you know. And so I think that it's going to, no, but what I'm saying is that I don't think you can say clearly Obama gave the order with plausible deniability. Obama does not run these things. Obama's always just been a front man. And so, you know, it's much more likely that someone like Valerie Jarrett gave an order like that, although I doubt it was her, because they would not have come out and said no one in the White House. So what we know, they said no White House official. Valerie Jarrett was the woman who was essentially running the Obama White House administration. And so, what we're seeing is that somebody is responsible for this. We don't know who, but we know that it will be someone who is very closely and intimately tied to the White House. Because remember, it's someone in the Obama administration. But it's not someone who is who was a official, who was a formal technical White House official. The FBI is still the executive branch. The FBI is part of the administration. You know, there are a lot of people in the administration who are not White House officials and who are not Obama. And so, you know, and the thing is, Trump probably already knows this. He probably already has the information. You know, Bannon is smarter than I am. And if it had been me, the very first thing I would have done is get those requests, you know, get those FISA requests for the warrants. And they already know. So they already know who's involved. They probably already have the transcripts and the recordings. They probably have all of this information already. The speed with which they tried to, the Obama administration came out. Yeah, and that's actually true. I mean, we are all being bugged. You know, this transmission is going directly to some server somewhere. You know, I'm not important, so I doubt anyone's actually bothering to listen to it. But, you know, it's going to sit on a server somewhere, and if they ever decide that they want to, you know, go through my life with a fine-tooth comb, then, you know, someone will have to listen to this. I'm sorry, Mr. Agent Guy. I realize this is not very interesting for you. But, you know, it's everything that you do online, you know, the porn you watch, the stuff you pirate and download, whatever, all of that is being recorded and so forth. You just have to deal with that. You have to accept that. You know, at least if you're going to be surfing for adult material, you know, make sure that it's somewhat attractive that you're not going to be embarrassed about later. You know, that kind of thing. But the you know, it's better to it's better to have nothing to hide. But you just have to go, and you just have to understand that you have no electronic privacy. There's no such thing. It doesn't exist. Yes, this is a crypto fashion T-shirt. Can anyone identify the individual? It's not me. Not Heisenberg, Spengler. There we go. Yes, it's Oswald Spengler, the author of Decline of the West. A practically unreadable book, but brilliant, but unreadable, or very close to unreadable anyhow. But what you know? So the thing is that you need to you need to understand that what's going on right now is just part of the same battle that has been going on between the media and between the God Emperor's administration. And this is part of that, and it's going to be very interesting to see how this shakes out, because I think what we're seeing is that their whole, insane Russian ties to the Trump administration is just a complete failure. They managed to get Flynn that way, but they didn't understand why Flynn had to go. They didn't understand that it wasn't the God Emperor reacting to the pressure. It was simply because he didn't like the way that Flynn handled the whole situation. And so, what we've seen is that the God Emperor is hitting back hard, very hard. He's showing that the Democrats, even some of the people that are making accusations, were just as closely tied to the Russians as Jeff Sessions, as anybody else in the Trump administration. And so, it is pretty funny that that's what they're going with. I mean, the fact that they're going with that indicates that they probably don't have anything serious. Whereas, as we're seeing from the Trump accusation, is that Trump probably has an awful lot of information and other stuff that he can and will use, when he deems it fit. I think I'm confident that Trump is going to surprise everyone. He makes a habit of doing this. He makes a habit of sitting back, taking his time, choosing a shot, and then making it very effective. And so, his apprentice tweet. No, I think Trump just says, hang on, let me get this guy. He is. I guess I missed him. I'll wait till he makes his next ridiculous comment. Anyhow, Trump is going to take his time. He's going to take a shot, and it's going to be effective. The stuff like the apprentice stuff, that's just him having a good time. I think he had a he has a microphone, and he just sometimes likes to say what he thinks. And so it's really going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I think that Sessions' recusal is not at all a big deal. He said he was going to do it. He did what he said. It's no big deal. So, but what we know, and here's the interesting thing, is that what you have to understand is that the news is more fake, much more fake than you have any idea. Everything about them is fake. Even the idea of their popularity, even the number of people that they report watching. If you go to, one of the biggest bullshit metrics out there is Alexa. I proved conclusively to my readers about 2 years ago that Alexa was utterly ridiculous. There were some people who were people who didn't realize that I had access to my good friend John Scalzi's traffic, and so they were trying to claim that I was lying about our comparative traffic numbers, and they were citing Alexa as proof. And in order to demonstrate how ridiculous it was, I arranged to get about 20 to 30 of my readers to install the Alexa toolbar. And of course, because, Alexa is just a sampling tool. And so we bounced the ranking of Vox Populi, my blog. We bounced it all the way up from, I think, 40,000 in the US to 4,750. We bounced it by a factor of 10. And we did it within 2 weeks. So here's what I'm proposing. Because what we've seen now is that the dying media, the Carlos Slim blog, the Washington Post, all these folks, they're buying Chinese bot traffic in order to make their numbers look better. And you can see it on places like Alexa, because you can see that even though their sites, some of their sites are blocked in China, that China is supplying as much as 50% of their site traffic, or at least some of the stuff that's showing up in Alexa. So here's what we're going to do. And if you want to participate in this, do it and tell your friend. If you're using Chrome or if you're using Firefox, go to Alexa and download the Alexa toolbar. And then just visit Infogalactic News and visit Vox Populi. All you have to do. Install, even if you don't use, spell what out? So I'm going to get the VFM are going to do it. The VFM will do it. Quite a few of the Dread Ilk will do it. Remember, we managed to bounce it to 4,000 in the USA with like 20 people. We'll get the 500 VFM doing it. Alexa, A-L-X-A, Alexa.com. They have a toolbar, and just put it on one of your browsers. I would actually recommend that you put it on a browser that you download just for this purpose. So, if you use Pale Moon or if you use Brave, I use Brave myself. So you download Firefox, put the Alexa toolbar in it, and only use it to go to visit those sites, to visit BP and to visit Infogalactic. Throw in Gab while you're at it. They do not have one for Safari. It has to be either Firefox or it has to be Chrome. They don't have it for. It says they have it for Internet Explorer, but it doesn't actually seem to work. So do that. And what we're going to see right now, I just checked. Right now, the Alexa ranking on voxday.blogspot.com is 114,000, and in the USA it is 17,618. So if I'm correct, when we are going to bounce this rating of my blog up into the top 1,000. Maybe we can even bounce it higher if a lot more people participate. But if I'm correct, then we can see. Yes, I'm going to record these numbers daily. So what we're starting first is I'm just starting with the Periscope folks. Okay, so you guys are the guinea pigs. You guys are the vanguard. So we're going to see what kind of effect, and I'm gonna mention this every night for the next week. So we'll see how that works. Then the next step is I'm going to mention it to the VFM. And the VFM, I have my own ways to communicate directly with them. I'm going to let the VFM know. And then we'll track how that goes. No, it doesn't matter. You just need to visit it once or twice a day. The idea is to demonstrate that the Alexa ratings are total fiction, that they're manipulated. The VFM are my vile, faceless minions. They're the shock troops of the Dread Ilk and the Evil Legion of Evil, and they are sworn to mindlessly obey their Dark Lord. And so you don't want to mess with them. To give you an example, when there's a fake review of one of our books on Amazon, within 3 hours I usually have a complete profile of the individual responsible, including everything from their workplace phone number and so forth. I was actually a little disappointed last time. It took them 3 hours and 27 minutes. I was very disappointed because the previous time it had been 57. No, I'm not accepting new VFM. They're too well known, and so there's too many people that would try to infiltrate. That's true. That was their excuse. It was Saturday, and I had posted this at 6 a.m. Eastern time. So I have to admit, I'm not at my best before I've had my coffee either. So, but anyhow, there's a lot of, the VFM do a lot of things. What we're talking about here with Alexa is your opportunity to participate in the kind of stuff that we do. And so, I will tomorrow night when I do another Darkstream, I'll check in. We'll see if we see any movement at all on Alexa from what you guys are doing. And like I said, I'm going to keep it to the Periscope people for the first week. Word might circulate out a little bit among some of these folks. There's lots of ideas that we're fleshing out. I appreciate that. There's a lot of ideas that we're fleshing out. You've seen the results of some of them. Infogalactic is the result of the Brainstorm crew. Infogalactic News is a result of the Infogalactic Techstars being able to respond very quickly to one of my ideas. I wanted to, with Infogalactic News, I wanted there to be a reason for someone to pop by every day, even if they didn't need to research something, a Wikipedia style thing. What books and games am I involved in? Well, I've been involved in over 30. So, or even actually, if you count editing, and publishing, over 100. But anyhow, my most recent book is Innocence and Intellect, which is just showing up on Amazon in hardcover now. 764 pages, and so I'll be talking about that once we actually once it actually shows up in the stores. I've got one on order. Don't worry, Infogalactic News is not going to be made much more flashy. We're going to add a little bit of stuff on the sidebar. The Dow, Euro, US dollar, and the price of gold, just very simple little graphs on the side. They will not get in the way of anything. And we'll also add a single sidebar ad, usually for a book or whatever. Same as we've got on Infogalactic, but nothing that's going to get in the way. We want to keep it very simple, very clean, something that you can just go, boom. It's news.infogalactic.com. And it's basically a very simple Drudge-style news aggregator. We'll be making some changes, but they're all going. It's all going to be very simple. We're going to be adding Infogalactic Tech. We're going to be adding Infogalactic Francais, Infogalactic Italiano, Infogalactic Deutsch, and so forth. And the nice thing is that it gives us the chance to focus the news on what we think is important, on what the center right thinks is important. Even though I'm alt-right, I've issued a directive, and most of the people involved are not alt-right. But I've said, we need to provide the center right a way of seeing what stories we think are important. It's updated at least twice a day. We usually hop on the breaking things right away, and so it's just a great place to it's a great starting point. And then there's 36 great sites and columnists that are across the bottom, and I actually already use it myself. There's a couple blogs that I wasn't really that familiar with. Z-Man is really good, and we'll have German and Italian versions of Infogalactic News before we'll have Infogalactic proper, just because it's a lot easier to do. Doing stuff with whatever 5 million pages is is daunting and expensive. You know, thankfully the burn unit is doing a fantastic job of keeping things going, but you know, we would need to grow it significantly to be able to support multiple languages. Steph's interview fleshing out the, not that I'm aware of. It's entirely possible that he'll drop that one on me the day before. I'm a regular guest there once a month, and so I usually don't know what we're going to talk about much more than a day in advance. So usually every now and then I'll say, "Hey, I've got an idea. We should talk about this," and then Michael, his producer, gets back to me. "Yeah, that's a great idea, but actually, we'd rather talk about this," and so we do, which is fine. So, I mean, I always enjoy talking to Steph. He's very articulate, very intelligent. It's really a pleasure to get to interact with him and talk with him. And his book that we're going to be publishing is fantastic. The Temple of Sin, and it's really really a well-written literary novel. Really looking forward to getting that one out. So, yeah, it was fun. It was fun doing that video with Cerno and Steph. Mike is such a madman, but he's been a really great influence on me. And I don't think I think I can honestly say that Infogalactic probably would not exist if it wasn't for Mike Cernovich. So, he was the one who told me to stop being such a, in his words, upper middle class pussy, and it was well merited. Shauna, she's a cutie. I like Shauna. She's the thing that a lot of people might not realize about Shauna is that she's just ridiculously cheerful. She is really sweet, and she's a lot of fun. My kids think she's great. Yeah, I got to get around to that free trade thing. The problem is I have a little homework that I have to wrap through, and I haven't gotten around to it yet. I've just been insanely busy. We have a new game project that we're going to be working on here very soon. That we've just started. Actually working on it with some really excellent game developers, like names some of you would have heard of, and I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be a great project and possibly a foundation for a lot of stuff. So that'll be cool. Well, yeah, working hard is part of it. I mean, you need to work smart. You need to work hard. And it's helpful if you enjoy what you're doing. I like working with the writers I'm working with. I get phone calls from Nick Cole at 3 a.m, like, "Hey Vox!" "What is it, Nick?" "Oh, nothing. I just thought we should talk." And so, when you're surrounded by good people, and whether it's the Infogalactic Techstars, when it's the Castelia authors, when it's the Alpenwolf developers, the game dev teams, it's a privilege to do it, and it's a delight. No, I don't have ever planned to retire. Why would I? I mean, now granted, I probably take it a little too far. My wife did remind me that, when I go on vacation, I don't actually stop working at all. And so, I love what I'm doing. I love writing. I wish I could get more books done and out. The Gladiator game, that's a good question. What we're doing is actually based on that in a way, but it's just a much bigger, much more marketable implementation. And so I hope that we can get back to First Sword at some point in time, but we'll see. Thanks. This is Crypto Fashion's Oswald Spengler. I highly recommend their shirts. I don't just wear them all the time to advertise them. I actually wear them all the time because they're comfortable. They're really, you know, like a lot of t-shirts are kind of, they hang like this, and like these sleeves and the material's kind of stiff. The Crypto Fashion ones are all really soft, and they kind of conform a little bit to your shape, and so I just find them a lot more comfortable. So in fact, I don't even like hoodies myself, but that hoodie I was wearing the other night was pretty good. Yeah, the Crypto Fashion searched for quite a while with the different suppliers, and he sent me his 3 favorites, and then I picked out the one that I liked, and so that worked. We're still looking for like the right cap. We have one that's like really close, but not quite. Yeah, they're all cotton. I wanted silk, but apparently that's expensive, so I'm just kidding. But anyhow, the thing I think to keep in mind, now here's the thing. I'm working on SJW's Always Double Down, but if you haven't read this yet, if you haven't read SJW's Always Lie, you really need to do it. You know, PewDiePie came out, and he came out, and that whole incident was played out exactly as is described here. The important thing about the PewDiePie situation and the Milo situation is that it demonstrates that nobody is beyond the attack as long as they challenge the narrative in any way. It is the same every time. Okay, this guy is trying to debate somebody on here. We don't do that. So anyhow, yeah, I mean, you know, PewDiePie's doing some new stuff. Milo is working on some exciting new stuff. You know, there's a lot of great stuff that's going to be coming out soon. And people are learning, you know, creators and independent thinkers are learning that they have to build their own platforms. You know, that's why, you know, I'll be moving over more to Gab TV, because we can trust Gab as a platform. We can't trust Periscope as a platform. You know, that's why we set up Infogalactic News. That's why we set up Infogalactic, because we can't trust Wikipedia. I don't know if you read that article. I'll put it on the blog tomorrow. But the whole Daily Mail thing was a complete hit by a very small group of not even Wikipedia administrators. It was only 5 administrators. It was 53 Wikipedia editors that managed to get the Daily Mail removed as a, this is the book, they managed to get the Daily Mail removed as a reliable source. And so, yeah, the book, if you want to check it out, there's 2 books that I've got out recently. Well, SJW's Always Lies, the main one. And then the other book, I'll talk about it later in a couple days. You know, maybe in 2 weeks or so, when I actually get it in, the collected columns and whatnot. So, audiobooks, yeah, SJW is available in audiobook. Cuckservative is available in audiobook. We just released Cleo and Me in audiobook. I'm the author of SJW's Always Lie, yes, and I'm the co-author of Cuckservative. I am not the author of Cleo and Me. That's Martin Van Creveld, the brilliant Israeli military historian. So, anyhow, but you know, just to sum up, we're going to see some interesting stuff coming out. There's almost no question that Trump and Trump Towers were actually bugged. It probably was not directly ordered by Obama or any White House official, but it will almost certainly come out that the FBI did bug Trump Towers, and that it was ordered by someone in the Obama administration who was not a White House official. So that's my take on the public news. I could be wrong. But that is what the if you apply Occam's razor to the available evidence in the media, that is what appears to be the case. So we'll wait and see. But either way, we'll continue to comment on it here. We'll continue to post the breaking updates on Infogalactic News. And please feel free to stop by the blog at voxday.blogspot.com. Have a good evening, and we'll probably see you tomorrow. Thanks.